I just didn't really want to be alive anymore. I just had been suffering so much. It didn't seem like there was a way out of that. I couldn't even imagine being at this place where I am now, where I just feel good and I feel normal, just excited to live life again. And it's just a tremendous thing. I'm so grateful that I found Todd and this program. I had been struggling for about 5 years with functional neurological disorder, which caused like a whole host of physical symptoms and mental symptoms. So I'd have head pressure, seizures, tremors, schizophrenic episodes or psychotic episodes, trouble with memory, concentration, limb paralysis, like all sorts of things. On top of that, I had already been kind of like struggling with, I guess, just unprocessed trauma from the past, repressed emotions, things that have kind of always been with me before the FND started. So there was always kind of like this suffering I was trying to heal. And then when the FND started in 2020, it just kind of pushed me to the point where it's like, I have to find a solution. I mean, it was negatively affecting me in all aspects of my life. I just couldn't work. I wasn't able to drive anymore. I isolated myself, so I wasn't spending time with friends. I just didn't feel like myself. I didn't have control of my body and my mind. Thought I was losing my mind. And really, like before I started working with Todd, I just didn't really want to be alive anymore. I just had been suffering so much, and I just couldn't see what it would look like getting out of that. It didn't seem like there was a way out of that. I had tried kind of like the typical route. So I'd gone to a neurologist. We tried all sorts of medication, anti-seizure medications, psychiatrists, so antidepressants and antipsychotics, therapy, trauma therapy, EMDR, acupuncture was one of like the alternative things. And I just didn't really seem to be getting anywhere. I'd get like some temporary relief, but no real substantial change. I even, tried just prayer, just through faith, trying to find some kind of answer, really just like desperate for anything that might help. Working with Todd, I wasn't really sure what to expect going in. I knew a little bit about hypnosis, but I'd never really experienced it. I think there was a part of me that thought this whole process was going to be very like clinical and dry or something like that, or maybe even like painful because of dealing with trauma. But it ended up being a really fun process. And Todd was always introducing new elements and techniques that kept things engaging, that were effective. The hypnosis recordings were great, and they were very specific to things me and Todd had discussed, and very creative too. There was like always this something new, techniques like the eye movement. What I think what I really appreciate is that Todd was setting me up so that after the program was finished, I would have all the tools that I need. The humor, they're definitely during the trauma, like memory processing sessions, those were just a blast because I expected something maybe more serious, and within minutes I was just couldn't stop laughing, and felt an immediate shift, like physically and mentally, and just like something had changed, or a burden had been lifted off. And it was just such a simple process. Doing Zoom with Todd was nice and easy, just as effective. I was curious about how that would work, but I noticed change immediately. I just felt so comfortable and safe, and like it was the perfect environment and the perfect person to be going through this process with. Since working with Todd, I've seen improvement in basically every area of my life. All the problems I was going through, like the FND symptoms, they've decreased by like 95%. I haven't had any seizures. My mood has been great, so I haven't been having any anxiety or depression. I have energy now. Before I could barely get out of bed. Now I'm off going downtown, meeting with friends, like doing things again, socializing again. So as far as the F&D, it feels like it's almost completely resolved. And my just kind of sense of self has improved so much. I don't feel shame around a lot of the things that I had been feeling it around, like sexuality and gender identity, and just being in the world, just being who I am authentically. I feel that has shifted dramatically, and I feel like an inner confidence that I can achieve the things I want to achieve, and I am worthy, and I do have something to offer. Before this whole process, and I think for most of my life, I couldn't see a future for myself. I was always kind of in the past or just surviving in the present, and I didn't really know what my future looked like. And this kind of working with Todd kind of opened that door. It broadened my view of things. So now I am excited about life. I'm looking forward towards the future. I see what I can accomplish and do. So that has changed tremendously. I feel like my relationships have improved. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I can set boundaries and I can communicate more authentically and in a healthy way, and not from fear. I feel like a lot of in the past, I was just kind of living from fear and trying to people please and hide my emotions like anger and fear and things like that. And now I feel I can allow those things. I can get angry if I need to. I can use it without getting overwhelmed by it or being afraid of it. It's totally different now from where I was 2 months ago. Like I said, I didn't really even want to be here anymore, and now I couldn't even imagine being at this place where I am now, where I just feel good and I feel normal, normal, and I'm just excited to live life again, and it's just a tremendous thing. I'm so grateful that I found Todd and this program. It wasn't really about willpower. It was about trusting Todd, trusting myself, trusting in life, and trusting that I would be able to find my way through that darkness or through the path and onto the other side. And I would absolutely recommend it to anyone who is looking for a change and looking to fulfill their potential and be free to be themselves and be happy again.